Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I have an awesome Nerf blaster. It's electric and automatic. This is none other than the brushless soft blaster called the Diana. In this video we're going to modify it using the 3D printed parts here and give it the most important upgrade that it could ever have. Now, electric powered flywheel systems have been used in Nerf blasters for a long time to achieve automatic firing. What makes the system so special in the Diana is that it uses brushless motors, and the flywheel system in the Diana is so quiet that you could hardly hear grinding sound. Let me show you the sound made by this blaster as compared to other flywheel blasters. From the comparison videos, we could tell immediately that the Diana blaster has a much more silent operation. However, this silent operation is achieved by revving up the models only when we squeeze the trigger, and the price to it is latency. There's a noticeable delay when you squeeze off the trigger, as the dart takes much longer to fire off. In order to overcome this shortcoming, the Diana comes with this mode switch here, and it allows you to pre-rev the models. With the flywheel brushless motor spinning at low RPM all the time, the blaster is now a lot more responsive. It's really impressive how quiet the blaster is while the motors are still spinning inside. The only downside now is that if I forget to turn off this switch, the LiPo pack will drain off itself. And that's the purpose of this video. We're going to fix it with our upgrade. Alright, in this shot I'm going to walk through all the hardware that we require for this project. Starting from the left, here's the replacement battery cover for the blaster. And in the middle we have a special mounting accessory. This goes into the battery cover like so. And on the right we have a 3D printed muzzle. Besides the 3D printed parts, we also need screws. Here are 4 M1.5 5mm long screws, and here are 4 M2 15mm long screws. Next, I'll move on to the electronics. This is a simple dip switch, and these 3 are mercury switches, which are 3mm in diameter. As for the wires, we need 2 pieces of 22 cm long 28 AWG wires, and we need 2 pieces of 10 cm long 24 AWG wires. Alright, let's get cracking with the build. Now, the first step of the build is to grab this 3D printed part, which is for the motion sensor, and you will find these holes for inserting the mercury switches. Let's grab a mercury switch and put it into the middle hole here. For this mercury switch, we need to insert it into the hole with the legs facing down, like so. As you can see, the legs will extend out through the hole at the bottom. Now that's done for the first mercury switch. Next, we will grab another mercury switch, and this time the tip of the mercury switch will go into the hole, like so. And likewise for the last mercury switch. In order for this motion sensor to work, the mercury switches need to be connected in series. Here I've bent the legs of the mercury switches. These 2 legs will connect to the 28 AWG white wires, and then the rest of the legs will be connected by soldering the legs together. Now that was easy. All the joints are soldered now, and here's a close-up. Now here is my simple setup to test for continuity using an LED and a button battery and this pair of leads from an old multimeter. Let me remove the metal ruler and the circuit should break. Yep. And here we have the end of the wires taped to the test leads. Now let's see if the motion sensor is working. Yep, looks like everything is working. Before installing the motion sensor into the battery cover, let's not forget about the dip switch that we need to place in there. Here's the dip switch, and I have already soldered the 2 wires to it, and it goes into the battery cover like so. As the switch is only friction fitted into the recession, it's a good idea to add some super glue here to hold it in place. And here's a close-up of the switch from outside. Hi, this is Terence from the future. Well, this dip switch looks really nice aesthetically. It could not withstand the high current drawn by the brushless motors, and it lasts less than 10 minutes of use. The solution is to replace this dip switch with this pair of micro DINs. As you can see here, the micro DINs connector actually has the same height as the dip switch, so it will fit in nicely into the same recession. To turn on the blaster, we have this other DINs connector, which we will plug in from the outside. As you can see, the legs are soldered to short them together on purpose. The next step is to line up the wires properly so that they do not get into the way of this sensor. And the 2 wires will exit through the hole here. Finally, the 3D printed parts for the upgrade are complete. We have the muzzle here, and this is the completed battery cover with the on-off switch, as well as the motion sensor inside. All that's left to do is to hook them up to the blaster. There we go. Alright, the blaster is finally disassembled, and this is the bottom half. There's nothing in there except for the trigger. So I'm going to put this away. As for the top half, this is the trigger switch, and this one here would be the mode switch that's used to rev up the motors and keep them spinning. Now there are 2 ways to connect the motion sensor. The first method is to connect these 2 wires to these 2 pins, and in doing so, it will replace the off state of the mode switch with the motion sensor. The second method is to cut one of the 2 wires going to the mode switch, and for the exposed wire ends, we can connect them to these 2 wires. In doing so, you'll replace the on state of the mode switch with the motion sensor. After all that soldering, this is how it looks like. As you can see clearly, this wire has been cut, and the exposed ends are now connected to the sensor via the white wires. And of course, I had to insulate the exposed joints with heat shrink. As for that dip switch, its 2 red wires have been soldered as well. Here I've cut the red wire going to the LiPo pack, and the exposed ends are now soldered to the 2 red wires going to the dip switch. This way we could turn on or turn off the power supply to the blaster. Now let me put everything back together, and then we can test the blaster. Ta-da! Here's my upgraded Diana blaster, and it's looking great with the orange muzzle and upgraded battery cap with the motion sensor inside. The cap also has an on-off switch, and I no longer need to remove the battery cap every time to connect the battery plugs inside to power on the blaster. I also added this worker SCAR, and SCAR stands for String Centered Auto Rotation. Although the scar is just friction fitted into the muzzle with some Kapton tape for friction, it's pretty sturdy and the alignment is great. Now let me turn on the blaster. Hi, this is Terrence from the future again. Here's the new way to turn on the blaster. Unplug this micro-DIMMs connector, turn it the other way around, and plug it back in. And the blaster is turned on. To turn it off, remove the connector again, flip it the other way, plug it back in, make sure that there's one pin outside exposed, and now the blaster is turned off. If you remember in the video, I opted for the second method when connecting the wires of the motion sensor to the switch. Basically, that allows this mode switch to disregard the motion sensor and be able to turn off the spinning motors in the off state. It's good to retain that off control feature to conserve the battery's power for situations like when I'm playing the role of a sniper and do not need that fast trigger response. Now let's put this switch into the on state and see how the motion sensor works. As you can hear right now, the motors are spinning, and if I holster the blaster like so, the motors stop instantly. If I forget to turn off this switch and I place this blaster on the table, the motion sensor will turn off the spinning of the motors as well. Likewise for the other orientation. Alright, the motion sensor is working really well. Now let's take this blaster out for some fun. Now that was fun pulling a few auto shots in the house as it was raining outside. I'm really happy with these upgrades done to this blaster. The motion sensor made this blaster an even more enjoyable blaster to use, and the scar improved the accuracy of the flywheel dramatically. That's all I have for this video. I'll post a link to the 3D printed parts if you are interested. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.